Guys, I'm Aakriti Anand and I'm back again with वार्तालाप with Aakriti. नया एपिसोड है और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं what is the need of sustainable fashion. You know those jeans, denim सबके पास होती है. We all got denims, right? Now, in order to make this one denim, approximately 10,000 liters of water is wasted. 10,000 लीटर पानी जाता है सिर्फ एक denim jeans बनाने के लिए. हम सबके पास तो कम से कम 4-5 जीन्स तो होती है. नाउ यू कैन जस्ट इमेजिन हाउ मच वाटर वी आर वेस्टिंग just by making denims. So guys, fashion is the second most pollutant industry. हम fashion के जरिए जितना कार्बन अपना फुटप्रिंट छोड़ रहे हैं on the planet, it's insane. So that's why today I have got a designer on my show who is the biggest propagator of sustainable fashion. ये बहुत कोशिश करते हैं कि अपने डिज़ाइंस में sustainability को लेके आए, sustainable fabric यूज़ करें. And he's a Bollywood fashion designer क्योंकि इनके डिज़ाइंस बहुत सारे Bollywood celebrities ने पहने हैं, like Malika Sherawat, like Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Bruna Abdullah, Sarah Jane Diaz, and many more. So and he has more than 30 years of experience in the field of fashion. Please put your hands together and let me welcome my guest on the show. Hi Salim, what's up?
Hey Aakriti, how are you?
I'm so happy to have you.
Yes, so am I. So happy to see you. Are you doing well in Jaipur?
Yes, Jaipur is good. It was raining a while back, but now it's not raining anymore. Okay, so Salim, क्या कर रहे हो आप लॉकडाउन में?
I'm just trying to get this camera setting correct. Okay, I think that's
yeah,
okay.
You should. Yeah, but your face is not. हाँ, come closer.
Okay.
Crazy.
Let's take it.
So many people came and they all are saying hello to you.
Hello.
Hi, Abir, GD Institute. So, Salim, what are you doing in this lockdown?
I have been very busy, actually. So, I have launched a new brand. So, I have actually 5 brands, Aakriti. So, I have a couture brand, a sweat brand, a lifestyle brand. We have a menswear brand. And we also have a brand called SA by Salim Asgarally, which is all about much younger fashion, more affordable fashion, more sustainable. Okay. Now I'm launching the 5th brand, which is about food. So it's designer food, it's all about well-being. It's all about health, goodness. So long I have been dressing up people from the outside, the exterior. So it's only when you make the interior as beautiful as the exterior will true beauty actually surface. So that's what I'm working on. So I've been very busy setting up the brand, testing it out in terms because it's food. So we have breakfast foods, like we have muesli, granolas, protein bars, and a section of gourmet food, which is exclusively for gifting. So we have this beautiful roast chicken that we do. We do a leg of lamb which is roasted, and it comes in a gift set which you can gift your friend for a birthday. It's all hand done with the utmost levels of sanitization, and it's all organic. So the entire stress on doing things which are organic adds to the entire sustainability of everything that we do. Because it's a change. Sustainability is a change, right? So everything that you do matters. Very often people think, what difference does it make really? But everything makes a difference. Wrapping something in a plastic bag makes a difference. You know?
Yeah.
The way you process something makes a difference. As you were just saying, it takes 10,000 liters of water to make a pair of jeans. One cotton shirt takes like 3,000 liters of water to make. So we have to be conscious, Aakriti, of the way we are treating our environment, because it's going to all hit back on us. Like we have seen the recent pandemic that's going on, everything is hitting back at us. So it's very important to be aware of our actions so that we do the right thing, especially in fashion. Because fashion is a global churner. It churns global revenue. And At the end of the day, what happens to the clothes that you have finished wearing with? You can recycle it to a certain extent, you can give it away to someone, but finally it goes into a garbage dump where it
Right.
doesn't disintegrate for years on end. So, A, on one hand, you spend 10,000 liters on making that product, which sometimes is not biodegradable. It goes into a dump and then affects you for so many hundreds of years to come. So, it becomes unsustainable. And what is unsustainable is that which we, in using today, in thinking that we are going to progress by using this, we are ruining it for our future generations. We are leaving nothing for them. So then it becomes unsustainable. So sustainable is that which can endure and keep our entire chain of activities in good order. So I have been working
Yeah.
on all such things which has kept me really busy during the lockdown. And how have you
Yes,
been?
Salim, I know you are someone who always keeps busy and you're doing a lot of things. You have 6 brands now. Uh, अगर फैशन की बात करें, फैशन इज द सेकंड मोस्ट पोल्यूटिंग इंडस्ट्री ऑन द प्लैनेट अर्थ. और फैशन की जरूरत तो सबको रहती है. एवरीबडी नीड्स फैशन. वी ऑल वेयर क्लोथ्स एवरी सिंगल डे. व्हाई आर वी डूइंग नथिंग इन दिस?
Because
Why
we are
are
not.
only couple of people, designers like you, are coming forward and doing stuff like that, but other brands, major brands, are not doing anything regarding this?
It's the same thing in every industry if you really look at it. Whether it's the fashion industry, it's the automobile industry, or it's any other industry. There are very few players out there who are really focusing on that which is sustainable. The reason behind that is A, not everybody is aware of it. There are some people who are aware of it but don't really care because it's about immediate gain. How can I increase my profitability? How can I make money quickly? Because definitely to put a process into a sustainable mode is more expensive than if you're just going to do it anyway. Now, sustainability is not only about the use of resources, it is also about economic and social justice. When you say social justice, it has to benefit everybody. When you say economic justice, the man who's making the clothes should also benefit as much as the wearer who's finally going to wear it has to benefit. So there has to be economic justice, social justice on the human level, then there has to be environmental justice. You have to do justice to your environment. Don't use up all the resources in making that so you finish everything out for the people. So when all these things are lined up correctly, there's going to be a higher cost. So many people don't want to incur that. They don't want to do enough of research and development so that they produce things which are sustainable. I'll tell you, there is this entire concept called fast fashion and slow fashion. Like you have fast food, there is fast
Yes.
fashion. So when you're buying from generic brands, let's say when you're buying from a Zara or a Mango, they do wonderful styles which are very trendy and which you can pick off the shelf. They're inexpensive in the sense they may not be as expensive as the designer brand. So it's within the reach of many more people. Correct? So they produce in a huge quantity. But what they do to give you that price point, someone else is being squeezed. The workers sitting in Bangladesh or Turkey or anywhere else that are producing those garments are being produced in very bad conditions in small workshops which don't have safety regulations. They are paid very little. It's like as a producer of garments, if I go to Bangladesh and say, okay, I want this shirt to be made in $3. And the guy says, no, I can only make it in $5. You will say, no, I can give you 3.5. Someone else will come up and say, oh, you made it at 3.5, I'll give you 3, but I'll give you more production. So you see they're constantly being pushed for a lower price. With the result, he cannot improve the working conditions for his laborers. He cannot provide them with enough money for them to be able to live a decent life. So what you are wearing, in order to give you a price point and for them to be able to sell more, somebody else is being squeezed. That needs to
Yeah.
stop. So that concept of fast fashion needs to go. Instead, you need to have slow fashion, which is about, yes, you may pay a little more for a t-shirt, wear it a little longer than you normally would, and it should be of organic fabrics which disintegrate even if they go into a dump, garbage dump at the end of the day. You see, so everybody in the whole chain needs to benefit. Now, not many people want to do that. So that's the reason we don't see so many people either talking about sustainability or practicing.
I also feel, Salim, fast fashion is a capitalistic tool because of this new trend that they have taken out. Fast fashion, now fashion is changing every single week. Earlier, we used to have seasons that, okay,
Yes,
autumn, winter, summer, spring. So then designers used to make collection for 6 months at a stretch. They used to do
yes,
so much of thinking and conceptualization in order to make the collection.
yes,
Now fashion changes every week, every month. That's fast fashion and that is also increasing the demand in the market.
yes,
Youth जो है वो तो रोज रोज खरीदना चाह रही है नई नई चीजें
yes.
क्योंकि फैशन बन रहा है. But then उन कपड़ों को discard करना has become a big problem now.
Big
What do
problem.
you do? You
Absolutely.
wear a garment 2 बार 3 बार उसके बाद you don't want to wear it anymore. Where
Very
do you
true.
discard it?
That's the entire thing. That's why it needs its usage has to be stretched much longer. See, when you pay very little for something, you don't value it too much, right? You will chuck it easily. But if you paid a lot of money for something, you're not going to chuck it easily. You're going to see to it that you get maximum wear out of it. And maybe even after that, you will see that someone else gets maximum wear out of it. Or you may recycle it into a different product. Yeah,
Yeah.
jeans can be recycled into a handbag, for instance, at times, in a clever manner. But the point is, it is not the manufacturer who will do this until the consumer doesn't change. We, as the consumer, have to start consuming less. That kid, every time that has to go to a birthday party and says, Dad or Mom, I want something new to wear. But you have so many clothes, you can, no, I want something new to wear. That has to stop. You have to understand that they are just enticing you to buy more so that they can make more money. But at the end of the day, you will lose something much more valuable for your future generations, which is the planet. So, what would you rather keep for your future generations? So, once that awareness starts spreading on a larger level, I think people are going to look up and think. Now, for instance, in the Western countries, people are ready to pay more for organic products and for products which have not been made in a little sweatshop where child labor is involved, where workers have been not paid fairly. So, people have started looking at those things when they buy into brands. Brands themselves are now advertising and talking about the fact that they are using sustainable processes in their manufacturing. So when you read a label and you say that no, this guy is following sustainable processes and is conscious of it, I, as a conscientious human being who occupies this planet, will say no, this is what I need to choose. I need to buy a car which has low carbon emissions. Look at the
Right.
electric cars which are going to come in. So I have a
But
very positive feeling towards this that Aakriti, we are definitely going to alter our ways.
Absolutely. We all need to alter our ways and that's why awareness फैलाने के लिए ही I am also doing this live session. You are coming here and you're talking about it.
Yeah.
But I also feel there are a couple of brands who have just made this sustainability as a selling point. They're capitalizing on this label also. Okay, we're sustainable. They might be sustainable in one place, but then they are more dangerous to the environment in other areas. Like packaging is a very big issue these days.
Of course.
Like we see कोई भी jeans भी खरीदने जाते हैं, कपड़े खरीदने जाते हैं, चार प्लास्टिक के पैकेट में उसको रैप करके रखा होता है. So me as a consumer, how can I become more aware of buying something that I am not creating nuisance in the environment because of one purchase of mine? What can be those tips that you can give for the consumers?
First of all, look into the labels that you're buying. You might want to, because everything is up there today on Instagram, on social media. in everyone's promotions, any product mostly. So you should try and become aware of the kind of product that you are going to buy into. Are they really using sustainable measures? And if there's something you don't like about it, you need to talk about it. Like the case of Fair and Lovely that we just saw. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what is Fair and Lovely now about? They've removed the word fair, right? Because Black Lives Matter. So they've removed the word fair and it's not Fair and Lovely anymore. So that's a big thing for a consumer. It's a big thing for a human rights movement. Correct? So these are things which are sustainable over a long period of time because they affect human rights. So when I see that someone has done this kind of a thing, has taken the initiative, I would definitely choose that product over another one. Because their thinking is right, and if their thinking is right, it's very possible that their product will also be right.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I would do. The other thing is you can always put in your comments and your requirements. Today, as a consumer, you have a voice. You have a voice on social media, and they listen. You can tweet about it. You can put it on their Insta pages and everything else. So manufacturers are listening, producers are listening. So
What are
reject all
these?
that is not sustainable.
Right. So, what are some of the sustainable fabrics that we can use? Like, which, as a consumer, I should be aware of that these fabrics are sustainable and we should
When you
wear them.
talk about sustainable fabrics, uh, it has to start at the fiber stage. Okay, when cotton is grown, they should not be using pesticides. They should not be using chemical fertilizers in the growth of that cotton because all that affects the soil, it affects the human beings which are working in that farm. You can get terribly sick, you can end up with long time diseases. Therefore, the fabric that is made out of cotton, for instance, which comes from an organic farm, from an organic source, is truly a sustainable fabric because it also disintegrates. Fabrics which have too much of polyester blends in it, nylons, polyesters are not biodegradable. So avoid the usage of those kind of fabrics. Use more of natural fabrics such as cotton, hemp, jute, linen. These are all made out of plant material and they disintegrate. So even if it could end up in a garbage dump at the end of the day, it will disintegrate much faster than a polyester or a plastic-based fabric. So those are your
How
sustainable
about
fabrics.
how about khadi? Khadi is an Indian fabric, and people generally say it's sustainable.
Khadi is sustainable because A, it's made out of natural fibers. There's natural cotton which is used into it. The spinning process is different. Therefore, it's a heavier fabric with a lot of slubs in it. And we call it khadi because it has been made indigenously in India. It's developed over here. So it is completely biodegradable. So definitely it is a sustainable fabric. And it's a
We
wonderful
also have
fabric because
heard
it
that,
bleeds.
yeah, we've also heard that coloring of the fabric produces
Yeah.
a lot of pollution. So, what kind of colors we should be wearing which are non-pollutant?
So when you're talking about colors, if you know in Japan, sorry, not in Japan, in China, there is the city, I forget the name, where most of the jeans of the world are produced and dyed. The rivers over there are blue with all the indigo dye that comes out in the river. So actually, when you see the animals that live around the river, the dogs and things like that that drink from the river, they turn blue because they are taking in all those blue colors that are flowing in the emission of that water. So it is that deadly. So to use chemical dyes is very dangerous in many ways because A, it's polluting the environment. B, when you are wearing it yourself, it is also hazardous for your skin because minuscule quantities of it get into your bloodstream. Minuscule quantities. When you sweat, for instance, or if you were to get wet and the color was to bleed, then your skin is directly exposed to those very harmful chemicals. And what about those people who work and do the dyeing work for you in those chemicals?
Right.
That is even more dangerous because they are going to fall sick at some point of time. Therefore, use natural dyes. You're sitting in such a wonderful place called Jaipur, where you have all the natural dyes and the dyers and the block printers. So use those very natural indigo dyes. Uh, they have dyes which are made out of dried leaves, flowers, and they may not be completely fast, as in a fast color at all times. They will bleed on the first wash, but they will be less dangerous. They will be more friendly to the environment, and you should start choosing organic processes over that which is factory, that which is chemical, that which is hazardous. So I would choose those kind of things. In terms of colors, natural dyes don't give you that range of colors that you might get in chemical dyes. So somewhere you have to become minimalist.
Yeah,
So you
that's
have to
the.
resort to minimalism. That is, buy less, use less, but buy well and use well
Yeah.
and buy the
Very
right
well said.
thing. Because all of us, if you really go to see, buy so much of stuff. Maybe some of it you don't wear.
Yeah.
You bought it because you loved it at that point of time, but after you put it in your wardrobe, it was not something you really wanted to buy. We buy uselessly also, correct?
Yeah.
And those are the things we need to really kind of say, no, I'm going to control myself. I'm not going to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
So at the consumer level is where I think the change needs to come first.
Very well remarked, Salim. We need to all get to the minimalist lifestyle क्योंकि हमने देखा है पिछले कुछ सालों में हम लोग इतना ज्यादा एक्सेस खरीदते हैं as you said we buy extra, we buy things we don't need, we spend money on the things we don't need and then we cry that okay we don't have anything.
But it's not entirely our
लड़कियों
fault.
की तो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है सारी वार्डरोब फुल होती है बट फिर भी हम लोग बोलते हैं पहनने को कुछ है नहीं.
फिर भी पहनने को कुछ है नहीं. But the thing is, we are not completely at fault. What happens, as you mentioned, the capitalists, they are very, very, very smart. They know how to fool you enough for you to want to buy. Whether you go on any platform of social media, you will be actually following, enticing you with wonderful, beautiful pictures to buy. Then second level is price point, where they'll be offering you these fabulous discounts. Buy 3 and take 2 free types. But someone else is paying for the discount, mind you. They are not paying. They've made those workers take less for that. And giving you that discount, but they are still making the same profit. So you have to be aware of that also. So discounts are not always a great thing for everybody. It might be good for you as a consumer, but for someone who's manufacturing that garment, it may not be a good idea because someone is being paid less for it.
Absolutely. You save some money, but you're actually taking the money from someone who is well deserving, who's put in so much hard work into creating that garment.
Yes. So now when you go into minimalism, then you restrict the colors in your wardrobe. It'll be like, okay, I am only a black, blue, gray, and beige person. My outfits are all going to be in these colors only. And they're going to be very minimalist so that I can team a very exciting top. I can wear it as a top, I can wear it as a dress. If I were to style it differently, it could become something else. So you see, to be able to style things in more ways to get more wear out of it, even by accessorizing it differently. So you have a smaller, tighter wardrobe, which is more functional than have too many things and you're spending hours on deciding what you're going to wear.
Yeah.
And even after that, at the end of the day, you won't have a style statement because then you are known for just wearing about anything. But if you have a minimalist wardrobe which has certain types of styles which really speak your language, then you have made a style statement. Okay, so I was initially I used to work a lot with Simi Garibaldi. You
I want to come to you with this. Like, I think you're going in the same direction. Salim, you have a very unique style statement and you spoke about colors. You have, I think, I've always seen you wearing certain kind of colors. So please tell us more about what you do for sustainability and how do you manage a style statement being a minimalist.
So there was one point of time which I was very spoiled, Aakriti, I must admit. I was a shopaholic, okay? And anything that caught my fancy, I wanted. But I have learned to mend my ways now after having become more aware of, the entirety of the situation. So I like to restrict myself to certain colors like, blacks. I love blues like, navy blues and stuff like that. Basically the same kind of colors that I was telling you. So I try to keep my colors tight, and then I don't keep the option of buying like maybe let's say a yellow but that's not my color. So I'm stopping myself. You can see by restricting myself. So if a shop doesn't have the colors that I really wear, I'm not going to buy. Earlier, what I would do, I could buy any color. So the choice was greater. So the greed is greater to buy. So that way I tend to restrict myself. I definitely like to buy into products, for instance, like Fab India.
Yeah.
Their kurtas. Even the kurtas that we do in our menswear collection are all printed with organic dyes. Okay, they are all natural fabrics. So we don't touch polyesters. We don't generally, I would think, indulge in any processes which are harmful. We pay our workers well. We make sure that they are well looked after. So there is both economic, social justice, environmentally, also we are doing the right thing. So it makes you feel good somewhere that you are contributing. Because it's no
great
point being
advice.
aware of something and then not doing it.
Yeah. It's a great advice, Salim. I am gonna follow it now. I will restrict my wardrobe to certain colors because I think when you restrict to colors, as you said, then your choices become less and then you automatically become a minimalist.
Absolutely.
Now, we have some designers, several designers actually, who are watching this show especially for you because they love your designs and what you're doing and your work.
Thank you.
So, would you like to give a message to them? How can they opt for sustainable fashion? Like JD Institute is watching just now. We got a message from them.
Yes. I would definitely address all the young designers out there who have decided to make fashion a career. That it is extremely important because the planet is in your hands. You are the future generations that are going to take care of the planet and the way fashion is going to move forward. So make it a point first to begin with yourself, because when you begin with yourself, you can't do something just for the sake of doing it. You have to feel it from within. Yeah. So the change first has to be made within your own wardrobe. So start making those changes within your wardrobe where you start choosing natural fabrics. Don't get caught up in the lure of buying Chinese products which are not necessarily very sustainable because they have polyester blends. The embroideries are done on computer machines. Nothing against computer machines, but just the fact that there are tremendously talented embroidery workers out there who rely on us to give them work to sustain their skills. Otherwise, their skills will die. So definitely opt for handmade procedures and processes in your production as opposed to factory-intensive, machinery-intensive work. Because people going forward are going to pay for handmade crafts. That's where people's interests are going to lie, not in machine-made products. Because handmade has a certain feel and quality to it, which I think young designers should start. Because you all have all grown up in a technological world which is very technologically savvy, but somewhere the soul is lost. So go back to the beginning, go back to the roots, go back to the villages and see how those plants are grown. see how the fabrics are created, for you to get a better understanding of the whole process so that you change from there.
Right.
But that is what I would tell younger designers.
Here, one of the designer is watching the show. She's saying that Farsi embroidery workers are almost extinct.
That's true because Farsi work, originally was made, the Parsis still wear a lot of the Farsi work, which is done on their sari garas. Now, Farsi is Iranian, right? Now, those embroideries were actually hand done in China. And then our workers also learn those skills. Today, you can get that kind of work done over here. But because it's very expensive, lesser and lesser people are opting for it because you can do the same embroidery on a computer machine
Hmm.
at one-fourth the cost or less. So what has happened is these embroidery workers used to earlier do it by hand, now are left without work. So then they turn to other professions. They don't want to pass on those skills to their children because they feel if we are not able to do it, what are they going to do? So unless we start recognizing that, unless we start giving them work, unless the consumer starts realizing that what they are wearing has great value,
Hmm.
it's a little difficult to, save those crafts otherwise. But we all need to make an effort.
ट्रू वेरी ट्रू सलीम आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात की कि अभी चाइनीज ब्रांड्स बंद हो गए हैं इंडिया के अंदर लाइक a very big Chinese brand which was quite popular amongst the girls at least was Shein. Now the
Yes.
brand is banned. How is it going to help the Indian fashion industry?
What has happened with the Indian fashion industry is uh, it is plagued by the lack of regulations. So, patents in fashion are very difficult to execute because I can change just a very small aspect of that design and not be sued under the Copyrights Act because I can say it's different. I have a button over here instead of over here. So my design is different. So it's very difficult for a copyright to chase that person down. All right. Now, the industry over here, the generic industry, copies designers so blatantly that by the time a design is out in Fashion Week, within 10 days it's in other stores at one-fourth the price. Same thing was happening with China. We were inundated with all kinds of very cheap merchandise in terms of price points, which people found very easy to wear and dispose. So what I'm saying, if China is not there to do that today, there will be others in India who will do it. Correct? Now, whether they'll be able to achieve those price points which China used to sell it on is a debatable issue. We don't know yet. Right? But if they do, then it will be the same thing. We will not be able to address the fact of sustainability because they will be doing the same thing. So the fact is, yes, we may get the revenue that earlier used to go to China, but what good is that revenue? The whole thing about sustainability is that the money coming out of it needs to endure and benefit all. From the
Yeah.
farmer who produces the fiber to the final consumer who's going to wear it and generations who are going to come after that because you're going to affect the environment of the planet. Therefore, money that is produced in an economy must come like you have wind energy today. Yeah, you have hydropower, solar power. These are all green because they don't waste anything. Wind, it does not get over, right? The sun is always going to shine. So those are things that can be reviewed from time to time. But if you're going to use natural gas or oil, which will then get over and you'll pollute the planet also, but actually it may be a cheaper thing to do. You will make more money, but what will happen with that more money? You can
Yeah.
still land up with what we are going through today, this pandemic. as is being said, is the result because the environment has not been managed correctly. Climate change has happened. Why did the locusts come? The locusts came because there was climate change. There was more rain in Africa. So the lotuses had more to eat and they grew in numbers and then they flew off over here. So those are the kinds of things that money coming out of processes which are not sustainable will produce.
Very well said, Salim. Vinita is also here, your dear friend.
Hi,
I've
Vinta.
also met her. Hi. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Hi,
Thank you so
Huafrit.
much,
I can
Salim,
see you
for
there.
being with us.
It was my pleasure, Aakriti. Always is talking to you. I'm really missing you. You need to come back and have tea on at my studio. Remember?
I'm going to come to your beautiful terrace and we are going to have the fabulous coffee that I always have at your
I
place.
know, and the
And before
conversations
you
we
go,
have.
yes, but before you go, I want to talk about the menswear fashion collection which you
Of
recently
course.
launched in November 2019. Tell us something about the collection because I saw all the guys wearing different, absolutely different kind of garments, Indian
Yes.
and Western.
Yes.
And they all looked hot and handsome and fabulous like you are.
Thank
So
you.
tell us.
You're looking lovely too, Aakriti, by the way. Let me tell you that.
Big hugs to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, about the menswear collection, I have been doing women's wear. All my labels have been women's wear lately. So, when you do women's wear, especially when a male designer is doing women's wear, you have to think like a woman. Because if you're not able to think like a woman, you'll never make something that a woman will like. It's very important. I can make fabulous designs, but the thought behind that, to know where to put that right cup, to know exactly how much to lower the neckline, or what might work in a sleeve length, and who's going to wear that gown. You have to think like a woman. So for many years, I have been thinking like a woman. So being a man and wearing men's wear is also a part of me that I could never express. So I said now I was closing in on 30 years of being in the business. So I said now is the time because the entire manufacturing process for menswear is very different from women's wear. The entire sensibility, you can't just use any colors that you want. The style, the way you cut it, the kind of fits that you give. What is it that men will really like to wear? Because do remember, we are still very gender biased in this country. And another thing, no man wants to look like a man. And very few women want to look like a man. That gender bias is still there. You have to be very careful that, like, not many men will pick up like a shady pink color to wear, or like a bright yellow. Yeah, they want more of the men's wear. So, having explored many genres of fashion through my other labels, I said, let's begin instead. I'm ready. So, I got out line of kurtas to begin with, and I wanted them to be the sorts that man would enjoy wearing from a festive occasion to a house party or to a more, like a puja or a wedding occasion. So we had different ranges within the collection which were suited to different occasions that men require kurtas for. Because they don't go to work in a kurta. Yeah. So we had to have, then there are some who are very particular about the amount of embroidery they would wear. Not all men like to wear a lot of embroidery. They just need subtle touches. So to bring that all in was a great experience. It brought in a lot of myself into the collection because a lot of those kurtas, first time, was something that I would like to wear. I can't really say that about my women's wear line. Okay. But I can truly say that about my men's wear collection. So there's a lot of me in my men's wear collection. So I think that's why it did turn out pretty well. Don't you think so?
Yeah. I
And
love that yellow thing which one of your showstoppers was wearing. The big kurta kind of stuff.
that was my Sufi style. So
Yeah.
I love the mysticism of Sufi, and the Sufi dancers and the way they chant and the way they kind of remain in this wonderful trance. So they had always inspired me, and I wanted to bring in their style into my kurta. So I did that Sufi style with this long kurta with a lot of studies which come down from the waist. And yes, we did pretty well with that style. So I did get a few men to experiment with it because, mind you, not everyone is going to wear that style. But then that's the thing about designer clothing. Not everything is for everyone, you know. So I believe by and large, it is not you who picks the outfit picks you. It's always the dress that chooses the wearer, because the dress has a life of its own.
Wow, so beautifully remarked. The dress has a life of its own. The dress chooses the wearer.
Very much.
Thank
It's
you,
all
T-shirt,
destiny.
for choosing me.
Yes, it's all predestined.
And you gave me that beautiful black garment which I wore in
I
in
remember.
the
Yes,
launch.
the
Yeah.
organza
It
one.
was so
Yeah,
beautiful. Salim, it's very difficult to get something that fits you like a glove. And I
right.
tried wearing that garment, it just fitted me so well and I felt comfortable, though it was a little revealing, but it was so damn comfortable.
So
You
when
have this
so
thing of
when
designing clothes with comfort.
with comfort, yes, and definitely we are very restricted in even the kind of embellishments that I put on my garments. I don't like anything to be overt because I believe simplicity is of great importance. It is the wearer that has to shine through the garment, the person who's wearing it. It's not the outfit that should stand out, it should be you that stands out. So the outfit should not be such that it overwhelms your personality. Your personality must come through, and the clothes must enhance your personality, and not vice versa. So that is the effort that we bring into our clothes, that they don't become so strong that the person who's wearing it is lost. You're not looking at that person, you're looking at the clothes. So I think that's where I give importance to the person who's wearing it. And even when I have clients who come to shop with me, I know who's going to pick what, and I know what is meant for whom. And by and
Yeah.
large, that is exactly what happens. So when I have created something, I have created that something with someone in mind always. And very often, it is that kind of a person only who will go and pick that garment. So I think it's all very connected. The way you think and the thoughts you give out, the energy that you give out is very important in anything that you create. With creativity, your energy is very important because I'm going to put in that energy and I will tell you how that energy works. It's very interesting, Aakriti. For instance, let's say if you had a kid, okay, and she made you this lovely birthday card, handmade from love you, mama, and a heart, and she gives it to you. Will you ever sell or throw away that card?
Never.
You will always keep it. Tell me why you will always.
Because
Because
there is a sentiment of love, there is that connection in that
why
card.
is there
I'm
connection?
emotionally attached.
Why is there that connection? Because a child has put in all its love into making that card. That energy is housed in that card. So when I put all my energy and love into something that I create, that love is going to transfer to the person who's wearing it. That's why you felt so beautiful.
Yes, and I
And that's
always
why
feel
you
beautiful
will
wearing
always
all
want to
your
keep it.
garments.
You will always want to keep that garment, and it'll automatically become sustainable because you're not going to throw it away. You may give it to. So I have had people who had my collections of the 1990s, which they wear even now because they have not become passe. They've not aged in terms of their styling. They're still relevant and they still enjoy wearing it. And that's because the kind of energy that I put in, and that is doesn't happen in mass market. That doesn't happen at like a Mango or a Zara store because those are just made in random. So when you buy a handcrafted product, that is the difference between designer wear and that label with we create with love. So every piece is created with a great deal of attention and detail, and that's why designer wear is successful. It's not
Yeah.
just that designers are making more money. That's why they're charging so much. No, It's because so much of attention has been given to that detailing over there. Every thought over there has been a calculated.
Right. And you create a piece with so much love that it shows in the garment that you make, and even the wearer feel happy. You said it very rightly. We
It's
have
like,
a question here
yeah,
from Monica. She's a designer. She's
okay.
asking that she makes cocktail gowns and she
Hmm.
wants to switch to sustainability while
Yes,
making cocktail gowns.
yes.
So how can she do that?
I will tell you, of course, simply we use more of organic fabrics. There is a brand called Leva, which produces some great linen, which is organic, and it flows very well. Generally, there are certain organic fabrics are a little more stiff to use. So sometimes when you're doing like things like cocktail gowns, you need to drape better. You need fabrics which flow better, which are softer. You would then need to resort to, if your fabrics are too stiff and you're not fitting into your styling, then you need to get softer fabrics, but make sure you get them in pure silks. So they might be a little more expensive, but definitely they will set you on the right path to sustainability. Also, what you might want to do is buy fabric in gray, which is fabric which has not been dyed or treated, and get it hand dyed yourself in your natural dyes. So again, these processes, as I said earlier, are a little more expensive, but let me tell you, people appreciate it. If you explain to them and your label explains it to them that this thing has been hand dyed, it's an organic uh, creation, they will be only happy to pay a little more for it and cover your expenses. So don't go the way the herd goes, go the way your heart takes you, because that is the right way.
Very well said. It's awesome. She's also saying she's noting down everything. She's also asking about the drapes. How can you get the drapes in the sustainable fabrics?
That's exactly what I said, that there are certain fabrics which are organic in nature, which are a little stiff. Like, for instance, if you were to use jute or hemp, it becomes a little stiffer. But you do get linens now which are much, much softer than they ever were before. So start using those kind of fabrics. Start using your pure silks as opposed to mixed silks which have polyester blends put into it, so that you are using fabric which is sustainable. At the same time, it is draping very well. And as far as the dyeing of that fabric goes, buy it in gray and then use your natural dyes to dye it. We have, this is the only country in the world where we do hand dyeing and bucket dyeing. So we still have those processes which we can take advantage of, which are so beautiful. Can you imagine where in the world can you go and have one piece of fabric dyed? You can only do it in India. And these,
Yeah.
like I do private label as well in our lifestyle brand, where we work with designers on the West Coast. And for instance, I've done homes of Madonna, Brad Pitt. And when I say do their homes, it's like we've done the curtains, we've done their soft furnishings. And they appreciate the fact that these are all handmade. Even the stitch of the hand embroideries, of the computer, of the machine embroideries, even when you do machine work, is preferred to that of a computerized, because it is still a hand process. You see, when you do do machine embroidery on a machine, it is still a hand process because the rings have to be moved manually to get the design, as opposed to that which is done by a robotic computer. So it is very much appreciated. So I think bring that into your brand. Bring all those values into your brand. People will appreciate it and your brand will do.
Yes. I hope all your questions are answered, Monica. Thank you so much, Salim. It was a fabulous session, extremely knowledgeable. You
Yeah.
told us so many things about fashion. My understanding of fashion and sustainability in fashion has grown. I'm definitely going to make certain changes in my lifestyle so that I don't contribute to the pollution and I don't contribute to the devastation that's happening on the planet. and it was fabulous having you. Thank you so much for
Same here,
taking your time.
Aakriti. It was lovely, lovely chatting to you as always, and thank you for having me. Take care.
Lots
Bye,
of
love.
love. I'm gonna see you soon.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.